The Atlanta Braves dropped Game 2 to the Oakland Athletics by a score of 5-2 at Truist Park on Tuesday night. Getting it started here, we'll just go with the scoring summary because this was kind of an interesting game. 1-2-3 in the top of the first for Suarez. I thought that he was cruising at that point. I was expecting, okay, this is the Suarez that kind of showed out last year for the Braves. But, I mean, it just wasn't meant to be tonight for Jose Suarez. But before we get to that, Drake Baldwin on his bobblehead night, the first at-bat for him in this game, and he hits 105 miles an hour into the Braves bullpen to get the Braves on the board. And, I mean, what an incredible start to the year at the plate for Drake Baldwin. He was fantastic yet again here tonight. Only the one hit, but he put a few balls in play at a considerable velocity. So, definitely something that has picked the Braves up. Baldwin in the two-hole has been a godsend so far this year, especially while, numbers-wise, Riley and Olsen and Acuna have not had the best start to the season. I think that's going to change, at least for Acuna. We'll probably talk about Olsen and Riley's beginning to the season tomorrow when I do Section 329 with Jonathan. That's my Braves podcast that comes out about once a week on the channel if you are just joining us for the first time and didn't know what that was. Anyways, moving to the bottom of the second, Brooker has a kind of a bloop single, just goes through. But Soderstrom grounds into a double play, and so I'm thinking, okay, here we go, we're kind of cooking. And that was when Jose Suarez lost control. He walks Max Muncy, and then he gives up a hard hit single to Ibanez that was able to score Andy Ibanez. Lawrence Butler and Denzel Clark both walk, and Jacob Wilson was able to clean off the bases to make it 3-1 in the bottom of the second. A strikeout of Shea Langeliers, and that gets the Braves out of it. But after the first inning, the Braves bats went completely cold. 3 groundouts in the bottom of the second. It looked like Suarez recovered. He went 1-2-3 in the third. But Braves just can't do anything with it. Baldwin's able to reach on a walk, so he did reach multiple times tonight, just not multiple hits. And then, once again, the same part of the lineup. Wilson grounds out. Denzel Clark strikes out but to end the inning, but not before a double and a single from Muncy and Ibanez. I cannot remember how to pronounce his name. So, any A's fans in the comments, we don't see you very often, but let me know how it's said down below. Brings him home, and it's 4-1 Atlanta, or it's 4-1 Oakland. By the time they are done with the fourth inning, and it doesn't get better from there. The Braves, nothing doing in the bottom of the fourth, But the first batter that Joe Payamp sees is Shea Langeliers, and he continues his hot streak. His 4th home run in 5 games for the Athletics. 108 off the bat, just wrapped around the foul pole to get it in. So the 3 strikeouts after that don't matter. It's 5-1 Athletics. The Braves managed to get some stuff going in the bottom of the 5th. Michael Harris strikes out, but Dominic Smith and Dubon have both some just nice singles up the middle. Ronald Acuna Jr. with a runner with Smith on third, hits a sac fly. He hit it really hard. That was a 100-mile-per-hour sac fly. It moved Dominic Smith home, and then Dubon was able to move to third, but nothing that Drake Baldwin could do, and that was the third out of the inning. And that wrapped up the scoring in this one. So the Athletics were able to take this one by a score of 5-2. Let's talk a little bit more about Jose Suarez, because he just was not good tonight. A lot of just walk issues. That was something that was kind of an issue for him last year. I mean, if you look at his stats for Atlanta in those small sample size that he pitched, he, in 7 games, 19 innings, he only had a 186 ERA, but he did walk 10 batters in those 19 innings. So that's basically amounts to a walk every other inning. And just, that's not going to play at the big league level for long. If you're putting that many free runners on base, they are going to come back and bite you. He gave up 4 tonight in 4 innings. So just didn't really have control of his fastball, and his off-speed stuff wasn't good enough tonight to get it done. I'll be interested to see if he does get the start next time through the rotation. There's a possibility that Spencer Strider is back, so there's not going to be a need for either Martin Perez or Jose Suarez to get that 5th start, or if there's a possibility like Didier Fuentes. I think the timetable doesn't really match up for Didier to come back up for the next time through the order, because he needs to get stretched out to actually be a Braves starter, which is what they're planning right now. Well, he's down in Gwinnett to get stretched out. But I will definitely be interested to see if Jose Suarez gets another shot to start here in 2026, or at least for the first few weeks. Hopefully barring more injuries to this already beleaguered pitching staff. Like I mentioned, though, the Braves had some opportunities in this one, but they, however, go 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. And they only had 6 hits, but they were able to get on base. A lot of walks. There was one error that the Athletics had in this one. It was going to be a double play, most likely. You can't assume a double play, but a bad throw pulled the defender off of second base, and then he completely drops it, isn't able to make a throw over to first. And that is what brought up the opportunity to score more runs, and the Braves just could not do it. Just kind of embarrassing, especially for a lot of the guys that you expect to do well in those situations. Acuna tonight had 3 strikeouts. He did have the RBI on the sac fly, and that was a good at-bat. I'll give it to him. Drake Baldwin had a good night, never going to complain about a home run and a walk, reaching twice for your catcher. I mean, that's just stupid to complain about. But Matt Olson, the one hit, that was a solo hit, so he just got himself on base. Riley, 0 for 3 tonight. Yastrzemski, 0 for 3 tonight. Albies, 0 for 4. Harris had a good night, 1 for 4 at the plate, but I thought he put a charge on a few balls, so not a bad performance from Harris. Dominic Smith had 1 walk, reached twice in 3 at-bats, and Dubon, 2 hits tonight. So another really good night at the plate for Mauricio Dubon. But the problem is he should not be your best hitter on your team. He should not be hitting .429 to start the season. That's the guy you brought in to be the super utility guy, to play like good defense at almost every position of the diamond, give guys day off. And right now he is the most let's give some guys credit. He's the 2nd most dangerous hitter in terms of just pure on base percentage for the Braves right now, with Drake Baldwin obviously being the feared bat at the moment. But runners left in scoring position. I mean, Harris, Olsen, and Baldwin all had all stranded runners tonight. That's just not acceptable. You can't lose by 3 and have 8 runners stranded. Or excuse me, you can't lose by 3 and go 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. The tying run came to the plate multiple times late in this game with Ronald Acuna up to bat. He just could not get it done. I mean, to end this game, Acuna, Baldwin, and Olsen all bowed out to the Athletics closer. So, I mean, just not a way you want to end the game. Just a bad game all around for the Atlanta Braves. Excuse me, not Olsen. It was if you look at the final thing, it was Dominic Smith flew out, Ronald Acuna Jr. and Drake Baldwin were your final outs in the ninth. But still, the point stands. The guys at the top of the lineup, besides Drake Baldwin, and even including him a little bit, could not get the job done when the table was set for them, and that's the difference in the game. Because the A's were able to drive in runs when they had base runners. Because on 8 hits, they scored 5. The Braves on 6 hits scored 2. And the Braves had only one fewer, or actually the exact number of base runners that the A's had. So no excuses there for Atlanta. A bright spot I did want to point out, though, Martin Perez. It was kind of up in the air who was going to get the start for this game, whether it was going to be Jose Suarez or Martin Perez. Perez looked really good out of the bullpen, and he gave them much-needed depth and length in order to keep the arms ready on this 13 games in 13-day stretch, including a cross-country road trip that'll start on Thursday night. So, probably, if I was going to name a player of the game, it would probably be Martin Perez, and it kind of begs the question of why did he not start this thing? He gave you more length than Jose Suarez did, and he, 4.1 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts in that 4.1 innings pitch. So, definitely I think something that he will, Martin Perez is probably penciled in as that 5th starter for right now, depending on when Strider can be back. They mentioned tonight on the broadcast that he will be traveling with the team out west, so that probably points to him getting a start sometime, probably in the 5th rotation. Maybe give some of those guys, maybe give Elder an extra day off, or give Holmes an extra day off. But we'll see how exactly it plays out. But Martin Perez was your MVP for the Braves tonight, just because he gives you a better chance at winning tomorrow's rubber match game, and more games down the stretch when you go and play Arizona and the Los Angeles Angels. So that will do it, I think, for tonight's show. Well, actually, we will preview real quick the rubber match tomorrow. It is the day game as both teams fly back to the West Coast, or to the West Coast for the first time this year, in the case of Atlanta. Going for the Atlanta Braves tomorrow will be Chris Sale, the ace of the rotation, and he will, he's coming off a fantastic start on opening day against the Kansas City Royals. Just threw a shutout without much of an issue. He'll be facing Luis Severino, so that ought to be a pretty good pitching matchup. Severino, he got hit around a little bit in the first game against Toronto. 5 innings pitched, gave up 2 earned runs, 3 hits, but he also walked 3 and only struck out 3. So we'll see if he's more in form as the season comes along. And this is the second start for Severino and Sale on the season. So we'll see how each of them handle kind of putting the series on the line, because I think it's going to come down to how much length can Sale give you. Because this bullpen, as much as Martin Perez saved it, you do not want to have to use your premium guys for 4 innings tomorrow if you can help it. But it's always, you do whatever you can to get a win, and you worry about tomorrow when you get there, or when you fly into Arizona. So that'll just about do it, I think, for our show tonight. Final score, once again, Athletics 5, Braves 2 here in Game 2. So if you enjoyed this content, leave a like on the video and subscribe. We'll be doing Braves recaps pretty much every game of the season this year. So, just stick around and we'll have a good time. So, I'm Caden, and peace out.